Hello and welcome to the bass tutorial for Auld Lang Syne, beautiful Scottish melody arranged by Robert Longfield. We start by looking at the first measure of the piece. There's some important information there. We have two sharps, F sharp and C sharp. We have 4/4 time, 4 beats per measure, and we have the marking slowly. So we also start with the first measure being empty. The first thing you see is a whole rest. So that's 4 beats of silence. Starting in measure 2, you have two options. You can play open D, and then in the third measure, first finger B, and then the second finger C natural. 100% fine. If you're a little bit more experienced with left hand technique, you might want to consider shifting into second position and playing fourth finger D on the A string, and then you can shift back to first finger B. That way you can do vibrato instead of having an open string. Now if you do play the open string, that's also fine because the bass is so resonant that it will support the orchestra either way. Looking ahead, if you find measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have to count a dotted half note. That's 3 beats, and then you have to subdivide the fourth beat, 4 and. Now, it has a sharp into parentheses. Do you know why? Because it is a C sharp in the key signature, and because in measure 4 they said, hey, this one's natural, they want to remind you like, oh, don't forget, it is C sharp once we get to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here is measure 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That C sharp, it's hard to play in tune. Make sure your hand is around the bass, your pinky is on top of the instrument, pulling the bass towards you. If your hand is collapsed or the thumb to the side, your pinky probably won't go high enough and your C sharp won't be in tune. As we continue on, we have first finger B, and then again, of course, totally fine to play open G, and then first finger E in measure 9. But if you want to try something a little bit more advanced with the left hand, you can do first finger B, and then you can shift fourth finger G on the D string. This is second position. So you go from F sharp to shift on down to the next stripe, and that note is G, and then you can do vibrato, which is a nice way to make the sound a little warmer and a little fuller. At measure 10, let's build our hand frame. We get our F sharp nice and high, and then get your first finger ready for the string crossing to first finger B, measure 12, second finger C natural. Remember that on the bass, a C natural isn't actually low 2. You hear that a lot with the violins, but for the bass, you've got to reach to make sure your second finger is high enough for that C natural. All right, let's keep going. So we have measure 13 is open A, first finger B, and then I think this is always tricky on the bass. You have first finger B in the 8th note, open A, and then you have to reach to the second finger G on the E string. The reason I think that's hard is because you're going all the way across the instrument and your hand typically ends up going a little bit too low. So you have to make sure that you get your hand around the fingerboard, pull into the bass, and get your second finger high enough on that E string. Okay, time for fancier fingering time. So you could do open A, first finger B, completely fine, or you could shift up to third position and put your first finger on A, fourth finger on B, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and then you're still on first finger on G, so you can do fourth finger A and fourth finger D. And that allows you to avoid all of your open strings. Again, open strings are okay, especially if you haven't studied shifting on the instrument yet. The open strings will be very resonant and very supportive. If you are able to shift, you can start experimenting with shifting, playing in tune in a new position, and trying to add a little bit of vibrato. All right, let's keep going. Here's measure 18. That's a fourth finger F sharp, 2, 3, 4, open G, first finger A. But I know that you know what I'm going to say next, which is there's another way to do this. You could put your first finger on F sharp in second position, and then you can shift first finger G, and then fourth finger A. And this is all in third position. First finger G, fourth finger A. First finger F sharp, second finger G, keep recommending shifting is, one, it's always nice to push our technique a little bit and try and find new ways to play things on the instrument. And the other is because it's such a beautiful piece of music that anytime we can add vibrato to a long note, that's a good thing. If you're going to play it in first position, here's measure 18 in first position. F sharp, 2, 3, 4, open G, 2, 3, first finger A, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All in first position. It's very comfortable, very nice for your left hand because it's in one place. Looking ahead, if you can find measure 24, we have to do some subdivisions. If you haven't counted 16th notes yet, the way we subdivide a beat is going 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and typically what we do as musicians is we start doing the subdivision before it starts to happen so we can get our body ready for it. So that things aren't randomly faster, they're precisely faster. So in measure 26, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1. And that way my 16th note fits exactly on that fourth beat. 4E and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Always looking ahead to the next subdivision. So 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1 is how we play 24. Measure 26, if you'd like to go into positions, you can either play fourth finger F sharp or first finger F sharp, and then first finger G, fourth finger B in measure 28, and we just stay there, and then measure 30, back to subdividing, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1, 2, 3, 4, 32. That was the fancy fingering version. Here it is in first position at 26. 1, 2, 3, open G, 2, 3, first finger A, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 30, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1. Nothing wrong with that. You can hear it's still very resonant and beautiful. Let's move on. If you haven't counted groups of rest yet, at measure 36, you've got to keep track of 8 measures of rest. So I like to do this. I always use my fingers, just like I used to back when I was a kiddo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. And I just keep doing that until I get to 8 measures. I don't want to get lost or be confused. I want to feel confident that I've counted the measures correctly. So I keep track on my hand, usually just keeping my hand out of sight. I don't do it like this for the entire audience. I keep it sort of close to the instrument or close to my body. But that way I'm keeping track of my 8 measures of rest from measure 36 all the way to 44. Now in measure 44, there's an up bow. Do you know why? That's right, because there's a crescendo. So we start on open D, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, E and 4, E and 1, 2, 3, E and 4, E and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, E and 4, E and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, I did everything with fancy fingerings. Let me just talk through that. If you're going to do a more advanced fingering at measure 44, we have open D, and then we have at 45, we have first finger F sharp, and then I did a second finger G, and then I went fourth finger A, and then I did open A, and then I'm in second position where I have second finger on G to first finger F sharp. A couple reasons I like that. Again, vibrato, but also I don't like doing really fast string crossings like this. Going from open G to F sharp, it doesn't seem as smooth, and actually I think it's a little bit harder. So once you feel comfortable with where those notes are, the shifting actually makes it a little bit simpler to play beautifully. As we keep going, second finger G, first finger F sharp, and then I did fourth finger A, open measure 51. First finger B, 1 and 2. Third position, fourth finger A, first finger A, shift, and fourth finger B. Again, you don't have to do it. It's not required by any means. Here's 44 to the end if I just play in first position. Ready? And 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1 E, and a 2 E, and a 3 E, and a 4 E, and a 1, 2, 3 E, and a 4 E, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 E, and a 4 E, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Which is a lovely way to play it as well. Okay, that's the bass tutorial. What you want to really think about is the tone quality that you're doing supporting the orchestra. You're the lowest sound. You want to make sure that it's resonant and full. You also want to make sure it's really in tune. So always check in and tune your open strings. And then, especially if you're shifting, make sure that when you shift, you're playing the notes that are on the page by confirming it with a tuner. Nice job. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for playing music. And remember, if you practice every day, by the end of the year, you'll be taller.